And welcome to you all to our Cheap Seats, our FPL show of the Cheap Seats. In this week, we'll discuss all things FPL. Waheed's in his United shirt, so I'm sure he's bringing in the spirit of Cristiano Ronaldo to captain him against Watford. It is week 12 after the international break. I had a great week before the international break, got 67 points. All my guys seemingly scored, had points on the bench, so that was nice. But I'm still too far away. Waheed, how are you doing on your quest to get back to the top?
I think I've got 50 points, so bang average, just ticking along. Nothing special. I'm just not having the best season. I'm not having the best 2 seasons because last season wasn't much better than this.
Well, last season you called yourself expected to lose, so maybe that's
I called myself expected to lose.
And Dean, you're at the top. You're chasing the guys at the top. How was your last game week before international break?
Yeah, it was okay. I also managed to get 50 points, but there were so many close calls. Like Tony and Mpho had a goal offside, and they both were involved. There was Salah. I think Salah almost got a goal. Chilwell had a clean sheet, kind of wiped out at the end. Jimenez had a penalty to overturn, so it could have been a lot better. But I'm at like 70-odd thousand in the world, which isn't bad, but not great. So hoping to improve this week.
Okay, so obviously, as we normally do on the show, we talk about everyone's FPL picks for the week, what they're thinking of transfer, who they think of transferring in, out, their differential of the week to kind of give you a little bit of a flavor of what you can do, as well as the captaincy discussion. I think there was one week we all captain Mo Salah, but this week it might change because I don't want to see the joy of Mo Salah scoring against Arsenal and then my heart being breaking at the same time. So it's a little bit awkward, but we'll figure it out. So let me start with Waheed. You're transferring in Conor Gallagher. You're taking out Said Benrahma. Your differential is Josh King, which is one thing I'd like for you to talk on. And why are you captaining Son in this rotation?
So let's start with Gallagher. It was a straight swap with Benrahma, and I feel like Benrahma is becoming the player assisting the assist. He's not churning out amazing FPL performances, even though West Ham are flying. And I feel like he's often feeding players like Michel Antonio and Jared Bowen, who probably more long-term picks if West Ham continue flying. So Benrahma sort of more understated in his role in the West Ham side so far. So I decided to take him out. And, well, Conor Gallagher's flying, and he's sort of this season's Mason Mount, almost. Like, he's just doing really, really well, and he's at a really good price point. I know his percentage ownership is increasing a lot, so it's not really becoming the greatest pick in the world. But he's one of those players at the moment who's doing well week in, week out, and you almost can't ignore him. Patrick Vieira's side is playing a good brand of football, and Conor Gallagher is sort of central to that. So I think on the back of a good showing for England, he's probably going to come back with confidence. They have Man United in a few weeks, a very winnable fixture for them. It's a good pick over the next couple of weeks.
And Josh King, Leicester, not Leicester, Watford.
Yeah, so I haven't picked him. I've currently got Dennis in my side, but I didn't have a differential. And Josh King's one I've had my eye on. Josh King is really good for sides who are facing relegation, and he chips in with goals here, there, and everywhere, and he's chipped in with a few goals over the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted to track him over the next 2 or 3 weeks to see whether he was worth the trade-off for Dennis. So he's my differential, but more with an eye on him rather than picking him immediately.
Yeah, okay.
Son?
And Son, yes.
Son, they're playing Leeds, and Leeds don't have the best defense in the world. They're prone to shipping 4 or 5 against a big side. So not that Spurs are a big side, but a good side, or semi-good side, like an average side.
Well, it's Spurs under contest and expecting a lot.
They're prone to shipping goals, and if Spurs were to score, all good things go through Ronaldo. And I wanted to maybe go for something different than Salah. And also, like, Arsenal have been really good on defense, so I'm like, I don't want to touch the money, but like, is Son more likely to do something against Leeds than Salah against Liverpool, against Arsenal? So yeah, it's just sort of picking one to try and maybe go against the grain with my captaincy pick.
So Mo Salah has had, I think, 9 goals against Arsenal in the last, I don't know how long, and so like it's just ridiculous. it's truly ridiculous. So let's go through my team, my selections. I'm thinking of transferring Bernardo Silva for Kai Havertz. I'm loving how Pep was using Bernardo Silva against United. I thought maybe he has an opportunity. I've got Cancelo in the team. And so I was like, actually, if I need to get Kai Havertz out because Chelsea's fixtures are swinging to being a little bit harder, that would be one of those things. And I think Bernardo Silva is one of the guys. Greenwood and Jota are also the similar guys in that price range. Already have some sort of Liverpool assets, so I was thinking maybe differentiation. And I also don't know how Mason fits in this 3-4-3 that Ole plays. So it's a wait and see, but I think if I want to take some risk, I'd go with Bernardo Silva. He's played 90 minutes over the past 5 games for City, so it could be very important because I think this is the period, if City want to win the league, this is the period where they have to pull away. And so they will need Bernardo Silva on the field. My differential is Max Cornet for Burnley. I was surprised that he's gotten quite a nice points haul. He scored a few goals, assisted in the last 2 games. I think he got 11 and 15 points in the last 2 game weeks. He's someone that gives Burnley a little bit of spark. Burnley have always been a rigid British team. They just play one way, but bringing in a guy like Cornet kind of signaled a diversion to that and adding someone with a little bit of pace and creativity on the wing, and it's paid dividends. And so I was like, if you're looking for a guy at 6, I think I was surprised he was a 6. I would have thought he'd be a little bit cheaper in that ESR Gallagher era, like range. But if there's a guy you're looking to add into your midfield, if you want to look for somebody different, it is Cornet. They have some really nice fixtures. They've only got 2 fixtures of 4 in the next 6. So that's pretty nice for them, even though they do play Palace, and I do think Palace is probably a much better side than them. I'm thinking of captaining Salah because everyone's captaining Salah, but I have Ronaldo in my team, so I might go to Ronaldo against Watford just because I need to maybe differentiate myself and climb on the Ronaldo bandwagon. Dean, you
do know that United 2021 turned into like United 2008 when Ole's job is on the line. So we're probably gonna like put 4 or 5 past Watford this weekend.
But we've said that for like 5 weeks, and you guys haven't.
Look, I need a Ronaldo hat trick because the thing about I've also got Ramsdale on my team. So if I'm captaining Salah and I've got Ramsdale, it could just be a mess. But I have and it's either Ramsdale or Foster. So I've got Ronaldo, I've got Salah. So I'll take Aaron Ramsdale and the saves I hope he can make. Dean, your team's very interesting because you made your differential Ronaldo. So we'll talk about that. But you're bringing Jota, taking out Salah, and you're captaining Salah. Jota's been the yo-yo for you throughout the season. You brought him in, you've taken him out, bringing him again. Why are you bringing him in now?
So Jota at his price point and the position he plays, plus the team he plays for being one of the most attacking teams in the league, makes him too attractive to miss out. The problem with Jota is when you've got a fully fit front 3 at Liverpool in Mane, Firmino and Salah, he doesn't break in. Or if he does, he comes on for 10, 15 minutes, and that's not what you need for FPL. And whenever one of those front 3 are injured, he is always a great option. So now with Firmino's hamstring injury, there was word yesterday that he's going to be out until like mid-December. So there's a lot of game weeks between now and mid-December, which Jota will definitely then be involved in. Obviously, Origi is also someone that we saw deliver in the last game, which may counteract that a little bit. But whether or not, if I had to choose between Jota or Origi, you go Jota, just based on Klopp's previous history. Mm-hmm. The other reason why, though, is if Firmino is out before, like let's say Christmas, it's then AFCON. which means Salah, Mane are gone. So Jota will definitely play then. So Jota's a good pick until end of Jan, early Feb from now, and he's only going to go up in price. So at 7.5, I was looking for a replacement for Saul. I was trying to get Foden in, but he's obviously got a lot more up in price. So Jota makes sense for me. So yeah, pretty standard reason why.
Why did you have Ronaldo as a differential, even though Ronaldo's owned by 31% of the people?
So FPL is very different this season compared to what we've had previously. Previously we have 4.5 million defenders. We're happy with 2 points, and all the points are bagged up front. This season is very different, where all the points are being earned from your defenders, and there's not a lot of guys up front that are really delivering. So we've had Antonio deliver. Lukaku's injured. Kane didn't know what he was doing. Hopefully he knows what he's doing now. Wilson wasn't really doing anything. Jimenez isn't really doing anything. And Ronaldo had that great start to his campaign with 2 goals against Newcastle and then kind of fluttered when we know what's happened to United. So I've held on to Ronaldo since then, and he seems like a bit of a forgotten entity. So 33% people own Ronaldo, which I think majority are people that saw Ronaldo, bought Ronaldo, and now forgot their FPL login, and they still have Ronaldo. So the reason why Ronaldo is a differential is more just because they're playing Watford, and Watford have been horrendous this season. They have not kept a clean sheet in 11 games. They concede at least 2 to 3 goals a game. Had that one really good game against Everton where they scored 5, but other than that, they look like a team that are really easy to score against. When you've got defenders like Danny Rose at his age, it's not a great point. So I'm backing Ronaldo. I've held Ronaldo since then, and it doesn't make sense for me to move him on when he's playing Watford, the only good fixture in this United run in the last 10 matches. So so next week I will go Ronaldo to Kane. I just had to keep Ronaldo for Watford. So
why Kane?
What if he scores 3?
What, Ronaldo? Still don't keep Ronaldo. Still don't keep Ronaldo because Kane's fixtures are better than Ronaldo's in the next 3 after Watford. And Kane looks, obviously putting on an England shirt is different to putting on a Spurs shirt, but the goals he scored 2 penalties. Fair enough. But hopefully he's not playing for the badge. He scored 2 goals again. He scored 2 penalties against San Marino. But in that game against Albania, he scored some banging goals there. So with the Conte effect, with Kane looking like he can find the back of the net, I think there's a big toss-up between now whether you go Son or Kane.
A person high on tick, suffering from fetal alcohol syndrome, could score against San Marino.
That's fine. I don't care. It's more about the confidence that it brings you. So 100%. Son, the big decision now for Spurs players is Kane versus Son, right? If you can get Son into your team, go Son. If you can get Kane into your team, easier, go Kane. The big thing that I'm a little bit more wary about now is everyone was talking, cool, Spurs wing backs are going to be the next big thing. Looking at Emerson versus Reguilon. Romero got injured last night in Argentina versus Brazil. Looks like a left thigh injury. So that Spurs defense is even worse than what it was before. So those wing backs,
play, guys. That's okay.
Eric Dyer will play and Sanchez will play, but that doesn't do well for clean sheets for Spurs. They've got a good run of games. We've got Leeds, we've got Newcastle, we've got Brentford. Should be able to keep clean sheets, you would have thought, but it's a lot less likely. So Spurs defense is not a good option.
At that price point, I've got a question. At that price point, that Ronaldo price point, there's 12.4 on Ronaldo.
There's 12.4 and 12.2 on Kane.
12.2 on Kane. I'm going to throw another name into the hat before we end the show. But isn't Aubameyang at 10.1 better value? He's been doing well almost every week now.
I think he scored 5 goals this season so far.
Yeah, it's 2-3 seasons ago, not the disinterested Aubameyang of last season. So at that price point, surely we look at Aubameyang instead of Kane and Ronaldo, who've kind of been very expensive hit and miss the season.
So I went with Vardy. I didn't go with Alba. Largely because of the way Arsenal play. Aubameyang you kind of hope that Arteta plays him with Lacazette, because if he does, Aubameyang will most likely score. If Aubameyang's not playing with Lacazette, most likely he's not going to get the ball, and that's been the struggle with Arsenal for a while. But Arsenal scoring goals, and he's okay. I hope he
Arsenal
never
scoring
takes
goals, but
penalties
he's
again.
missing penalties. That's the problem.
Yes, and that's my other worry with Aubameyang. But you kind of for me, I kind of want that. This run of 8 games was great, but you kind of want to get into that rhythm of 2 seasons ago where he was scoring every other game and getting to about 15, 20 goals a season. He's currently, I think, on 4 or 5, which is he's like on track to get to about 15, 20. So if you want to buy him at that price point, I say go for it. But I went with Vardy because I think Vardy at Leicester has proven himself over the past, I don't know how many years, even at that old age. But Alba's a very good price point, and I think he was my differential the other week. I think he's a very, very good guy to look at. I just went with the run of fixtures going forward, and I think with Arsenal playing, I think it's Liverpool on Sunday and Manchester United, the chances of Alba scoring kind of diminish because of the opponents we're going to be playing, and also the style of football we're going to be playing. I wouldn't
Everyone will
surprise
score
me.
against you. Everyone will score against you, Waheed.
Everyone can score against us.
So this is my thing. So the reason why in FPL you have to look at the guy most likely to score in any team. So you look at Spurs, who's going to score? Kane and Son. You look at Liverpool, who's going to score? One of the front 3, most likely Salah. You look at that Arsenal team, who's likely going to score? Not to say I care about Arsenal, but probably Smith or Saka, I would say, are probably the 2 most likely to score at an Arsenal. It's the same reason why Chelsea, because Lukaku's training, I don't put Lukaku into my FPL side because Chelsea are scoring with those wing backs and that or not really the midfield, but those kind of wide players are getting involved and getting into the box. So Lukaku for me isn't an attractive FPL asset anymore just because of the way teams are playing. And I think that's why Vardy at Leicester makes sense. Yeah, he hasn't delivered, but you have to look at who's more likely to score at a team. And if there's just so widespread that you don't know, you kind of have to stay away, and then you look at teams who you do know who's going to score.
With your strikers though, Dean, don't you try and look at who? So the strikers picking your side. Wouldn't it be almost prudent to look at who's going to score 20 goals for the season? Whether he scores now and doesn't for 3 games, Lukaku will probably score 20 goals this season.
True, but then you playing a game where people can go in Lukaku and out Lukaku, and they can then get strikers who score 20 goals a season, but in their team they get 60 goals a season if they've got 3 strikers that they just go in and out, which is why you more like this is the season to rotate your front 3 where you can go Kane, then Lukaku, which some people do, Ronaldo when some people do, Vardy when those not performing. I think that's the tough part, and that's what this Premier League or this FPL season is so different to anyone else, because that's why Trent, Cancelo, Chilwell, James are the top 4 most owned assets in the game, and they're all in defense, which you look at the way it's previously been paid, no one ever has, it's never happened that way. So there's more points in defense and midfield than there is up front, which is why you just kind of get one that will score and you just leave it.
Yeah, because I did try that.
Pick Jadon Sancho because apparently he's going to be playing right wing back soon.
Yeah. Normally you look for a guy
I don't want that drama in my life.
Position.
I'm sorry. I don't want that drama in my life right now. But guys, thank you very much for joining. That's our FPL show. Remember, you can follow us on One World Sports Radio's YouTube channel, subscribe and like. I'm trying to get to 1,000, about 160 away. So please do that. And yeah, enjoy your FPL week. Game week starts on Saturday. So remember, please do make sure you get your picks in, because you don't want a situation like I did where you leave your squad and somehow Ronaldo scores against Spurs and he's your captain and you're smiling all the way to the bank. Outside of that, thank you very much for joining us. And till next week, for myself, Waheed and Dean, goodbye, good night, and lesale kakahiso.